Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of Brigadier General David W. Gardner and Command Sergeant Major David P. Hansen, Commanding General and Post Command Sergeant Major of JRTC and Fort Johnson, welcome to the Warrior Information Exchange for September 2023. With that, sir, General Gardner, I'll pass it over to you for any opening comments you might have, sir.
Yeah, can everybody hear me? Is this mic on? Okay. No, hey, I appreciate, I was talking with 46 before, but really for our Director of Emergency Services, the DPW team, the 46 engineer team, a lot of folks, I've expressed at every chance I get the appreciation for dealing with some of the wildfires. We're not, out of the woods, no pun intended, yet on that, but really a lot of great efforts to help protect the community, some great teamwork. Governor came down a few days ago. We were able to go out and meet. He's actually been down here twice. Once when we had the operations center that Vernon Parish set up, and Garrison Commander and DPTMS went out there and were able to meet him. Then I was able to meet him out to the southeast. So, again, really nothing, thankfully, threatening Fort Johnson specifically. I think right now we still have around 40 families that aren't able to return. That number, thankfully, keeps trending down. So I do, again, appreciate all efforts for folks to fight it. Also, if nothing, one of the silver linings is it emphasizes the importance of good contact information amongst our families so that if there is a challenge, they know who to call, they know what unit their spouse, their soldier is in. Those are helpful. So I think, again, I'd ask if we found organizations within our organization that need to do a little bit better, there's no time like the present to shore some of that up. I do appreciate, 46 had some great training. They were out in the box. We repurposed them because what they were doing was really not a Forces Command directed training event. That was additive training. They met all their training objectives. They came out of the woods, and then I do appreciate the teamwork between 310 and Ops Group to quickly get some of the soldiers when we did find out a family was moving. I'd also like to thank really everybody who was patrolling out on social media, trying to make sure we got information out. Clearly, we didn't, make everybody happy. But the important thing is we kept people as informed as we could. What I do think that we need to be mindful of in some of these is, and just ask you, because we got a lot of leaders and senior spouses in here, what we've got to be mindful of is we really don't have, in my opinions, the right, I'll just use a simple English term, to start putting out community and state information as opposed to letting people know where to get it, right? I don't think Beauregard Parish or Vernon Parish, and I've talked with all the mayors, chambers, as I said, the governor's office, the state, the National Guard. Just be mindful if people ask, what they don't want us to be putting out information on their behalf, because there are community members with no affiliation to Fort Johnson that follow that as well. And so much like I would not want one of our subordinate organizations putting things out for the installation, they don't want us putting things out for the community. So I would ask us again to keep the lessons that we pulled out of this about where information is. I think there was a good job done overall. If you're not on Nixle, this was a good opportunity to do that, although your phone's going to blow up like mine's been doing for the past 3 or 4 weeks or so. But again, I do appreciate it. And again, I appreciate the SFRGs that were very engaged, the chains of command that were very engaged, and then again, the teamwork across the installation. I think we invented a new term with Ops Group called the Green Chinook, right? And so that's a good one. That's the one you want to come in when you need something. So appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, slide please. All right, some highlights on the calendar coming up. This Sunday at 10 a.m., the second Sunday brunch here at the Warrior Center. And then that Monday, so this coming up Monday at 09 is the September 11th Remembrance Ceremony at the Fort Johnson Fire Station. Coming to that Friday the 15th, at 6 p.m., movie night activities. We're going to be out here at Headquarters Field, and then the movie night as well as at Headquarters Field. Those both change from the 50-meter pool, and from going forward, all the movie nights are going to be held at the Headquarters Field, is what MWR is telling us. That Saturday at 08:30, the CG's powerlifting competition at the Home of Heroes gym. And then Monday, the 18th of September at 5 p.m., will be Fort Johnson Walking Town Hall of Maple housing area. Another highlight is on the 27th of the month is the CG's quarterly excellence awards ceremony, and that'll be right here at the Warrior Center. And then that Friday at 9 a.m. is a family welcome at the Family Readiness Center, and then at 10:30 right here in this building is the retirement ceremony for the post. All right, moving on to October for highlights. October 3rd is the 10:30 a.m. 30th anniversary of the Gothic Serpent out there at Sugar Gordon for Ops Group and then some of the team here. And then at 10 o'clock on Wednesday, the 4th of October, we're right back in here for the Wii.
Let's make sure, too,
yes, sir.
I mean, just to be, and not to insult anybody's intelligence, but, you know, Evie and I were talking about yesterday. I mean, most people don't know what Gothic Serpent was, so I just, want to be clear. So, obviously, this is the 30th anniversary of our operations in Somalia, specifically Mogadishu. 3 October is obviously was a bad day, and we had some obviously some brave actions that took place that day. And so fundamentally, we named our huge Mout facility, our urban facility at JRTC, which has really been our hallmark after Shugart and Gordon, who both received the Medal of Honor for their actions on 3 October when Black Hawk and its crew went down. That's been a significant landmark here at Fort Johnson for 30 years almost, right? So coincides 1993 is when we established JRTC here. 30 years ago is also, again, our operations in Somalia. The other thing not to forget is we often dismiss or forget about, I shouldn't say dismiss, we forget about the involvement of 10th Mountain Division in Somalia as well, and the actions of their soldiers. And we have a lot of leaders from that organization that live in the area, to include the battalion commander who lives up in Alexandria, who commanded the battalion from 10th Mountain that was over there. So, pretty big instance. And then the other thing is we have a lot of really dedicated folks that work for the installation, that take care of the monument we have out there at Shugart Gordon. So also, a good opportunity. We did the 25th anniversary when I was here a few years ago. So if you can support that, great. I only clarify, again, because I think if we talk about, 30th anniversary of Gothic Serpent, I don't know that people know as much, and I think it's okay to talk about 30th anniversary of Black Hawk Down, 30th anniversary of actions in Mogadishu, and 30th anniversary remembering the Rangers and others that perished that day, and really we're serving our country. So thanks.
Yes, sir. All right, on Thursday, the 5th of October at 10 o'clock on Warrior Field is the BJAC Command Sergeant Major Change of Responsibility. And then on that Friday, that is actually the Columbus Day weekend. It's a 4-day. Noon will be the Garrison Commanders Golf Tournament right here at the Warrior Hills Golf Course. And then that Saturday, a lot of events. 06 at Toledo Bend starts the Bass Tournament. And then at 08, Louisiana Hayride, the Cardboard Regatta, the Car Show, a whole bunch of things are happening right here at Fort Johnson on that Saturday. And I know that MWR will expound upon that when they come up here. That Sunday, the 8th of October, is the second Sunday brunch right here at the Warrior Center. All right, continuing on to the 16th is the Walking Town Hall of the Dogwood housing area. And then that Friday starts all the candy trick-or-treating. So at 5 to 7 is the MWR trick-or-treat right here at the Warrior Hills Golf Course. And then at 7 p.m. that night, Headquarters Field is going to be the outdoor movie night. All right, and then on that Saturday, lots of events for our retirees here at the Warrior Center and the golf course. At 08 starts the Retirement Services Fair at the Warrior Center and their 47th annual Retiree Appreciation Day ceremonies. All right, continuing on to Friday the 27th at 9 a.m., a family welcome at the Family Readiness Center. At 10:30 is the monthly retirement ceremony at the Warrior Center. And then that evening, 10th Mountain at the Old Commissary is hosting their trunk or treat. And then lastly, on the 31st of October, that Tuesday is from 1700 to 2000 is the Fort Johnson trick or treat for the post. Pending any questions.
Good morning. I'm Stormy. I am the DFMWR NAF support chief. So we have an entire team here that'll brief you on several different aspects of DFMWR, but I'm going to touch base on the community event aspect today. So on the slide, you see a couple things, the movie night in September and the hiring event. So I definitely want to point out those. Those are both flyers on here. They're large community-wide events. The hiring event will be held at ACS on September 19th. That is open to everyone that is looking for employment. We'll have several different employers there to include MWR. This is open to our teens for those that want to come out. Yes, we know that it's during school hours, so we are working with our employment readiness officer to incorporate this into a weekend event for our teens to be able to come out to as well. So keep checking back on the Facebook page for that specific event. And then as you look over to the right-hand side of the slide, you see lots of events that we have through the month of September. All of these events can be found on our website or our Facebook page, so if you need any more information, you can refer to that. At the bottom of the slide, you see some coming soon, so I definitely want to touch base on the October event, so that way you can pre-plan for these. The G3 mentioned the Louisiana Hayride. That is the first Saturday in October. If you've been at Fort Johnson for any amount of time, especially last year, you've seen this event happen. We've kind of built on it every year. So a couple things to look out for is the car show. That's going to be first thing in the morning on that Saturday. Lots of cars come out to that. It's a great event. Throughout that evening, we'll have the Hayride Pumpkins family-oriented event. We'll have live music going on. That evening, we'll have, right before the hayride ends, it'll be the cardboard regatta. So big events for unit morale. The teen center comes out. Units can come out. A esprit de corps kind of event. You'll build your boat out of cardboard and see who sinks the fastest. I'm just kidding. We see who gets to the end of the pool the fastest, which is normally no one. But it's a great event. Definitely come out, register for that. And then at the end of that night, we will have our Oktoberfest. So we're slowly building this here at Fort Johnson. First time last year. This year, we're actually incorporating dueling pianos to that. So it'll be a great event that night on October 7th. You can look there at some of the upcoming events. We are still hosting our MWR Trick or Treat, which if you were here last year was around the golf course. We're just incorporating that with movie night. So lots of stuff here. And then things that you don't see on the slide that I want to kind of address. How many people know what September 16th is? Anybody in the room? Besides my boss? No one?
It's Mexican Independence Day.
Maybe yes. That's not what I was looking for. So actually deer season opens on September 16th, but close. I'll write that down so I know that's the answer next time. So if we have any avid hunters out there, archery season does open. So our outdoor rec program is going to have a lot of robust programming that you can check out on the MWR page. We have a 3-gun shoot that's coming in September, and then also a big buck competition. So if you were a hunter, definitely go out to the MWR recreational shooting range or check out the website for information on how to register for that. We'll have lots of good prizes and things to give away for our big buck competition. And then the last thing to talk about is our lemon lot. How many people knew we had a lemon lot? Okay, a couple raise of hands. We just reopened it, and the lemon lot's actually going to be right across from Catfish Cove. It's adjacent. There's a concrete parking lot across from the golf course, Catfish Cove. It's on that corner. It is $15 a car to park your car there if you're trying to sell it, and you will register and pay at the Auto Skills Center. On the MWR website, there is a form that you can fill out. It'll email it directly to them, and they can contact you about that, or you can go into Auto Skills Center and see them about it as well. So that is all I have for community activities and engagement that are going on. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, ma'am. I do, but not off the top of my head. It is written on a sticky note on my desk. But we'll post it, and I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yep. Any other questions? Awesome. So I'm going to be followed by intramural sports.
We're good with Halloween. Hi, good morning. I'm Corey Reynolds. I'm the Supervisory Sports Specialist with MWR.
Just briefly, I just want to let you guys know what we're offering to you guys within the intramural and unit level sports programs. We typically go five sporting seasons. We've got flag football, which registration is open for now. It is open to all service members, DOD ID card holders, spouses, dependents, the whole 9 yards. We're opening that up to you guys. As per this slide, our registration ends on 14 September. I have now extended that to 25 September, seeing as all the service members are in the box. Followed by that, we'll have the Turkey Bowl for the command team, and that will be a good event. What we're going to do is we're going to have an open registration for that, and then teams will compete for who's going to participate on the day of the Turkey Bowl. All right. Thoroughly encourage you guys to get your soldiers involved. It is free. We are congressionally funded. We are going to offer this to you guys no matter what, right? So give your soldiers an opportunity to decompress a little bit. We also work within your operation tempos, so I do plan around your training calendars as well. So, any questions?
Did you say on the intramurals that it was open to spouses and dependents as well?
It is, yes, sir.
So not just units?
Not just units. So it is unit company level. So once we get into playoffs and championship, that must be unit level, and that is a funding issue. But throughout the season, spouses and dependents can participate. We can put together rec teams just for non-service members as well.
What's the ages on that?
Must be 18 years old, 18 years of age, and not actively registered within our CYS programs.
Okay. So this came up the other day when I was talking with some of the leaders. So just for some of the leaders in the room, as you go back, I mean, we talked about this for soldiers. These are, good opportunities. I know, the flag football registration, probably wasn't the best time given, 46, 310, and ops group in the box, stuff. But it doesn't start yet, so it's just registration is still ongoing. So, this is a good, healthy outlet, and I certainly know teams are going to want to represent at the Turkey Bowl, but please put this out to your folks if they're interested in some healthy outlets here to get their sports on. Thanks.
If I can add one more thing to that, sir, as well. We encourage that, right? We want to bring the camaraderie back, the esprit de corps, right? The unit competition. That is my goal for you guys to really empower you guys and implore you guys to get involved with that, right? That's my job, and that's what I intend to offer to you guys. So that's all I've got. Thank you guys very much.
Hi, good morning. I'm Tiffany Cook, one of the school liaison officers on the installation. So back to school, we're about 2.5 weeks in. The garrison commander and I and Sergeant Major Nielsen have visited several schools. Everything seems to be going pretty well. Everything was worked out. If there were issues, pretty much within the first 2 or 3 days at most of our schools. So just to kind of touch, they do have some out-of-school days coming up. The Vernon Parish School Board one, that will be a fall break, but one of those will be a virtual day and one of those will be a school out day. So be sure to check the actual calendar for that. This slide is just to kind of reiterate what our office does and all the supports that we can provide. We are working with several families individually right now. With that first bullet, that can be a big stickler when you're moving from place to place. We were just able to help 2 different students get enrolled in Dodea Virtual Expansion to extend their languages so they didn't have to start back over because French was not offered here, nor was German offered here. So those children are enrolled in those courses. And then we've helped 2 other kids get credit for some electives. So we've been busy with those first 2 bullets, as well as our youth sponsorship program. So at some of your schools, some of your kids may be talking about student to student. That's the program that Vernon Parish offers that partners with our youth sponsorship program. And then within our school age center and our middle school and teen center, there's actually a youth sponsorship program, and that gives them a peer with adult oversight that can answer their questions about all the things schools and all the things fun and youth related to do, because they would rather listen to them than listen to us. So again, we encourage you, the back to school survey is there. It's open until the 14th of September to capture anything great or any kind of issues that you're still having. It is a way to anonymously give that feedback to us. If you do have individual issues, you're more than welcome to reach out to our office, or you also can visit our ICE and leave feedback there as well. Just a moment, one of the most exciting parts of our job too, I feel, is Partners in Education and Adopt a School. So unit leadership, we will be adjusting that a little bit so that all of our schools have access to a unit, because we did have some units that were kind of overly taxed with a large amount of schools. So we have been working that and kind of right-sizing that with our public affairs team. Actually, the public affairs team is working that right now while I'm here, and so we hope to have that completely rolled out and in an operations order as a frago to the base operations order in October. So just be on the lookout for that. Any questions school support service-wise?
Real quick, just to hammer home that Partner in Education relook from the Garrison PAO and the operations order to the units to stay engaged with the schools. That every single school that Tiffany, Sergeant Major, and I visited, they were looking for their particular unit and had great things to say about the various units. So kudos to everybody for maintaining that program. We are going to relook it just to make sure that we are spreading the love of Fort Johnson back into the schools.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to put you on the spot because I know between you and Garrison, air conditioning on buses, can you address that a little bit?
I can do that one,
Or
sir.
somebody, yeah.
Yes, sir. There are 5 air-conditioned buses in Vernon Parish. If your child gets on the bus to any school inside Vernon Parish, they are prioritized towards special needs program, special education needs program. There is one bus at Leesville High School that transports the extracurricular activity athletes farthest away. Everything else is without air condition. So, and of those air-conditioned units, there were a couple that were broken down throughout the last couple of weeks. Vernon Parish is throwing a lot of money at getting technicians and a contract to be able to fix those ACs. There was one bus that we were intimately tracking, as my daughter was on it as well. It wasn't terrible, but there was a AC inoperable. But going back to it, there's 5 buses that they are spreading throughout the entire parish to be able to get after it.
So I only bring that, it came up not in this venue, but at one of the, because I always do the newcomers on Friday, and so one of our new folks, I think, in ops group brought it up. So that is the answer where we're at on that. Thanks.
Okay, pending no more questions, I will brief Child and Youth Services now and their upcoming programs. And so just to touch on what was just discussed, because we'll get down to sports and fitness and what they offer a lot of those same kind of programming that intramural sports would. And a child is eligible to participate in Child and Youth Services until, once they turn 18, until July 31st of that calendar year. So that's when we call like transition week. It's when we move all the kids in our CDCs. And that's also when anyone that had turned 18 during the school year would transition out and become a grown-up. So even if they graduated in May, they still can participate in all those child and youth programs before becoming an adult dependent July 31st. So just to clarify that. So requesting care. So it doesn't start at Building 924, which is our operations building for Child and Youth Services. We can give you a lot of information, but if a parent needs care, it all starts at militarychildcare.com. That is the Department of Defense program. It's a contract that does it for the entire Department of Defense portfolio. So you go in and you create your own family profile at militarychildcare.com, and that QR code will bring you there. And then based on your family's profile, you select which children you want to request care for. And then based on their birth date, it will bring up the care that we can offer them. And then from there, you select that care. So if you're looking for a child development center because you have a 1-year-old or a 16-month-old, you are going to select, if you need care, you want to select every CDC that it's going to bring up, because it's going to bring up all 4 of our child development centers, as well as our FCC providers. So you're going to want to select all so that you have the best opportunity to get care, unless you really, really want to go to one. But when you do that, know that that's going to narrow down how fast you're going to be offered care. Okay. Any questions about military child care before I move on?
I'm going to jump on that.
Okay, yes,
real
sir.
quick. But are there any questions? Go ahead. Somebody's got some.
So usually we try to, hourly care comes back in the school year once we make sure that we have enough caregivers to provide all of that care that is needed for before and after and full-time care. So the short answer is no. I know they're always looking at how many people we're onboarding and our capacity to offer full-time care and looking to offer hourly care. But no, a definite date, we don't have one that I'm aware of.
Do we know if days that the daycare before and after care is gonna be closed for the next fiscal year? And if that days are gonna collide with the rotational calendar for the school district?
It usually aligns with training holidays. Yeah, so okay. It'll always align with the Friday, yeah, the 4 a year will always align with those training holidays. So I will let my boss answer that question because it sounds like, I don't want to say yes or no as far as ops group. I can just tell you what it will align with.
Yeah, I don't have the dates with me, but
Yes.
it'll always align with this.
And it's my understanding that we're looking at doing those same 4
Do you want to take care of that
again, yeah.
at the expense?
So the same time frame, just whatever the Friday is before the Monday holiday that we did in 22, 23.
Yeah, John, one thing I'd ask you to do, though, is on that calendar, is get not only with the installation G3 for installation holidays, but get with operations group as well, because theirs don't always align to the installation ones. In fact, they almost never do. Go ahead, CJ, you were saying something else.
And then to ensure that we're all on the same sheet of music with regard to hourly care and full-time care. Full-time care, right now we're struggling to maintain full-time care and the bandwidth to be able to do that. If we start pulling towards hourly care, we start taking away from a capacity that we need for full-time care, which is the priority ahead of hourly care. So we're not there just yet. Once we get to a healthy place, then we can probably have that discussion. But right now, it's just not on the table, ma'am. Just want to make sure you understood that.
Yeah, so at the FCC providers, we have 3 FCC providers.
Three. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. So there's 3 FCC providers, but are they all full up right now, I'm assuming as well?
As far as I know, they're all full up. The third one just came online about a week ago, sir.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're full capacity or not, but
Yes, that is the other reason why, if we know of people that would like to do in-home care and want to get registered as FCC for the child care, that is helpful for the hourly care. We hope to be able to, typically we'll do the hourly care at School Age Center if we have the capacity, but we're still waiting to see that. Right now, just what I was going to share on that, and I don't know if these are still relevant, John, right now, but just covering, as you know, there's categories, but just for our COIS employees, our active duty soldiers, right now, infants are about a 45-day wait, pre-toddlers, toddlers, and preschool are about 30 days, and school age about 15-day wait. What I'd emphasize that we continue to have trouble publicizing, so if you can help, is please don't tell your families, please don't wait until you need the care to get on the wait lists. You don't need to do that. And as we go around on the walk-in town halls, newcomers, a lot of venues, we continue to run into folks that don't know that. And so what we do want to do is continue to tell people to get on the list if they anticipate that they'll need child care. To Colonel Lopez's point right now, we are working a new facility that will start. It won't be open until 25, so we are trying to increase our capacity. But right now we've got, what we've got for capacity. It's something the Army's looking at, but we can only resource it to the degree that we're resourced. So.
Thank you. And those priorities are listed down at the bottom of this slide. You also can call Building 924, your soldiers can, to get any information about where they stand within those priorities.
I just want to add one thing. So we have probably the biggest frustration that I hear about is service members and spouses who are frustrated with kind of the wait list ebbing and flowing. They've been on the wait list for 6 months, and and they keep getting bumped. So 4 years ago, when you were on the wait list and when you had care, you had a spot. But the SECDEF priorities change in the way in how people get bumped change. So, you know, if you have a service member with a working spouse and you've been on the wait list for 6 months, then somebody PCS is in who's single or dual military, you know, then that automatically kind of bumps them. And that's an OSD a priority, and it's an OSD system that automatically triggers that. So I just wanted to explain that and make sure that everybody was on the same page, you know, with that understanding.
The data does show that it has improved the access to care for single and dual military families, which is what the prioritized wait list's mission was to do. And so it has done that. I want to go back one more thing with my school liaison officer hat on. Your soldiers and families will be asked to complete an income verification form. That income verification form is not the school district trying to get into their business. It is them trying to make sure that they can sustain the free lunch program that they have, because when they have free lunch, you can no longer do free lunch applications. So an income verification form verifies that there is still a need in this area for that program, and that it also expands their opportunities for other programming within the federal government will supply funding for. So if you have any questions, I do have copies of those about what kind of information is going to be asked. And then there's also a QR code where they consent to do it online, but that families can submit the information online. Okay. So just to highlight real quick the programming that we have going on within Child and Youth Services. So our youth sports program is always very active and robust during the summer as well as the school year, but during the school year we do focus on what are your routine seasons for like rec league. So we have soccer that's starting. There is a wait list for soccer now. We're completely full. Flag football is getting ready to start, so you want to go ahead and start registering now or making those decisions. Registration opens next week, and then you can see the season dates right there. There are sports clubs that meet. There will also be a running club that meets, and then the wrestling is also getting kicked off. Our middle school and teen program, it is a free program. I mentioned it earlier on the school support services slide when I was discussing youth sponsorship. Our middle school and teen center is for grades 6 through 12. It is only an after-school program. It does partner with 4-H and Boys and Girls Club to offer a lot of neat curriculum and opportunities for kids. And then it also has homework lab, computer lab, and then a lot of STEM opportunities. And then Lindsay and I plug in over there, and we also, because we're part of the career development team, so we do a program on Wednesdays called Oh Snap, I'm Adulting. And that can range anything from being prepared to this is what your check engine light looks like. And we go to the Auto Skills Center. We do a lot of partnerships on the installation and off with MWR and community people, just exposing kids to things that they're going to experience as grown-ups. Those QR codes will link you to all of the different websites to give you more information. Of course, if you have any information, you can reach out to Building 924 or email us. Any questions? All right, thank you. I will be followed by better opportunities for single soldiers.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Specialist West. I'm your installation boss president. So as we look here into the month of September, we are once again ramping up our events that we are offering, as many of our soldiers on our installation are returning from training. Some of the events that I'm looking to highlight for this month are on 15 September. Home of Heroes will be hosting an open mic night. Boss will be there in support. It is open for soldiers to, some soldiers often sing, some soldiers write some things. It is surprisingly popular, especially in the last few months as the soldiers have been preparing for training to help them let off some steam as they go into the weekend and whatnot. Some other events that we are offering on 20 September, we are hosting What's the Scoop at Home of Heroes. Boss will also be in support of that. What I want to highlight about that event specifically is it's not just a free food and social for all active duty soldiers to attend, but we always have MFLACs out there who provide training instruction to the soldier on something going on in their life. The focus for this month is really the mountain is you. So talking with soldiers on the obstacles they may face on a day-to-day basis and having the personal courage to really overcome those obstacles. Our last one was really successful with soldier feedback and the AR that we received afterward. I just highly encourage you push this out to your soldiers who may be looking for a little bit more support outside of the duty day. Also on 21 September, we'll be hosting a kickball tournament at the sports complex at 1900. Currently, the kickball tournament is separated into teams of 8. Soldiers do not have to worry about signing up in groups of 8. We will assign them to a team if they do not have a group of 8 available to them, and we will be offering prizes out there for the soldiers as well. The last event I'd like to highlight for this month is on 30 September. We are doing a Lake Charles outing with a group escape room, some general shopping and food and things like that offered to the soldiers. This was heavily requested by the soldiers across the installation, especially our soldiers who are residing here in the barracks, as we do also offer programming for, Geo Bachelor and Geo Bachelorettes, things of that nature. Transportation is provided on a limited basis, so it is first come, first serve. Strongly encourage you sign up or have your soldiers sign up as soon as possible, so that way we can get them, taken care of and get them a ride out there if needed. Pending any questions or concerns, I will be followed by DPTMS. Thank you.
Good morning. Dusty Andrews here from DPTMS, Chief of Plans and Ops, and kind of covering down for the director at times. Just want to draw your attention, kind of pair it with the CG said, that the conditions have not improved drastically, even with what little rain we've had. So we are very dry, KBDI index of 700. Still haven't got enough rain to really help with the dryness. Burn ban is in effect. This is basically, we're staying in sync with the state fire marshal and their edict. So we're not doing it on our own. We are actually doing the right thing and following what the state has recommended that we do. And so I just want to remind everyone of that. Next slide. Again, September, hurricane season, doom and gloom. That's me. Y'all know that. Again, I'll just highlight the fact that we need to continue to make a plan. And on that note, I know that many families out there, or there might be some families, I don't know, but some families have kept a backpack in their car in case they felt like they had to leave. And I know a lot of people all post are that way. That's the smart thing to do. Have a little extra pocket change ready in case you have to go someplace. Have a plan. Know which way you want to go. Have a kit. Be informed, and you'll find success in that. And I don't want to steal any of Tommy's thunder. Next slide. You asked me last week, where do I go to find my information? And I'm not trying to be funny here, but that number one thing right up there, Nixle. I don't own any stock in that. I just make sure that I'm informed, and that is one thing that will inform. It's part of the National Emergency Management Act that Nixle rides that particular venue. It's a federal venue. States run it, but basically they can provide you updates in your car if you have your car radio on to your phone. Nixle is a good thing. So if you can do it to your address specific or state specific. So if you're in Beauregard Parish, you can receive Beauregard Parish. Vernon Parish, you get it from the sheriff's office. You might even get it from the local PDs down in your townships. But a couple other ones, the required alert for you soldiers out there. You're required to register in alert and have a couple of ways that we can contact you outside of your military address. Keep that in mind. .D, so website 511. You go on to it.
Dusty.
Sir.
Just on alert, because I had a couple of spouses ask me during the fires, alert, spouse and dependents can be registered in alert, but the soldier has to do that on a government computer.
Yes, sir.
Get in there. So if the soldier's already out, you're not going to be able to get on there is the point that I'm making. So, please make sure your soldiers know that as well. If they want to register their dependents to get it from alert, you've got to do that, again, on a government computer when you've logged in, and you can't wait for the event itself, or you're probably a little bit too late.
And we can expand on that as well. But yes, you can add as, I don't know, 10 numbers?
Yeah, 10 numbers.
10 numbers in there. So the same alert that the soldier get, whatever the spouse's number will be, that will be they will get the alert as well. So there might be some extra stuff in there, but you look through it, you'll get to the meat of the problem. I'll go down to the you see the Firms Canada next to the last. That's actually an interesting website to give you hot spots within the United States, and you can dial it down to your local parish. So if you want to track on your own, that's what we're using to track some of these fires. And I'm not trying to hold anything back. I'm not trying to hold any information from you. And then lastly, the one I will highlight the most, especially given September and October, is the wireless emergency alerts capability through your National Hurricane Center, NOAA, and your weather.gov. Sign up for those. You can get the information straight to them, much like Nixle. They will send that information out, and there are some other benefits to that. Again, just a little. There's tropical depression Lee out in the Atlantic right now. Hopefully, it's going to continue its path and go on up the East Coast. So we are watching all that, and again, this is where I get my information. Not hiding anything from anyone. Followed by Tommy, real quick.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tommy Morris. I'm the Installation Emergency Manager. Just a couple things before I get into National Preparedness Month, talking about alerts. The family members, if you're not a CAT card holder, you will have to add that number underneath the service member's account. If you're a family member that also is a CAT card holder, you can create your own account and add additional numbers. So if you and your spouse both have the CAT card, instead of entering 10 numbers, you can enter 20, for prime example. Okay, National Preparedness Month. September is National Preparedness Month. We know we're in the peak season for hurricanes, but National Preparedness Month focuses on other things other than just hurricanes and tornadoes also. For prime example, August was Extreme Heat Month. And if you looked at the all users, I sent out information on extreme heat and how to prepare for extreme heat. Some of the things we're doing throughout the month of September for National Preparedness Month, we'll be having displays set up across the installation. There's one set up right now in the post headquarters. We'll be going to the PX doing displays, the commissary doing displays. I'll also be available throughout the month for your FRG meetings. If you want me to come to your FRG meetings, pass out information and brief during your FRG briefing, I will do that as well. Just contact me if it don't conflict with the schedule and calendar, then I will be more than happy to do that. We also will be doing radio interviews throughout the month on KJAE and KVVP. Between 11 and 12 o'clock, so throughout the month, having that. There will also be articles published in eGuardian on how to prepare, just like Mr. Andrew just stated a few minutes ago. You want to have a kit. The focus and the theme for this year, National Preparedness Month, is preparing older adults for disasters. And that's not something that's a hit or anything, but a lot of times we forget about the elderly people that's in our care. And are we able to evacuate them in a timely manner? Do they have all the resources that they need if we have to evacuate? Do you understand the evacuation route if you have to evacuate? Those type of things we're talking about. So we want to make sure that, again, like Mr. Andrews said, to have a kit, have a plan, know your evacuation routes. We want to talk about how to shelter in place if we have to shelter in place. Are your smoke detectors been verified and looked at? Have you changed the batteries? Those are things we're talking about for National Preparedness Month, okay? Fire extinguishers. Has your fire extinguisher been checked? That type thing. Your special needs for your elderly. Do they have enough supplies on hand, medical supplies if you have to evacuate? And also, when you build those kits, is anything in your kit expired? Do you have enough for everybody in your family, in your household, to include your pets? Do you know where to take your pets if the hotel you have to evacuate to doesn't accept pets? Those type of things we want to talk about. And I'll be passing out information and publishing information throughout the month on all these things we're talking about right now. Also, we just transitioned into seasoning. We want to make sure that you winterize your vehicle. What does it take to winterize your vehicle? Do I have a kit in my vehicle? Am I prepared if I have to evacuate? Do I know how to maintain enough fuel in my vehicles if I have to evacuate out of the area? Okay, just like October is National Fire Preparedness Week. We'll be passing out information in October talking about that. November and December is Winterization Month. So again, National Preparedness Month focuses on a lot of things other than just hurricanes and tornadoes and the severe weather we face here in this state. So, and we'll make sure that we pass that information out to you to be more prepared. And again, I'm available for anything you need, not just through the month of September, but anytime you need anything that's part of being prepared, then please reach out to me and I will be more than happy to assist you in any way that I can. Pending any questions, I'll be followed by religious support. Thank you.
Don't let me forget to move this back down. Okay, Amanda? All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Krista Gross. I am the Director of Religious Education here at the Fort Johnson Religious Support Office. And I'm here this morning to share with you some things that are happening at your Religious Support Office. If you look in the left corner of that slide, you will see that our battle rhythm is changing as of yesterday. And what that means for the RSO team and for our community is that we are not just doing things at the chapel on Sunday. We are busy, as you can see, all during the week with all different kinds of programs kicking off during this season. I will highlight to you, Youth of the Chapel is a non-denominational religious Christian program for military teens, grades 6 through 12, that we offer. They are having a kickoff this Sunday from 5 to 7. Being a teenager and having your parents in the military can be a difficult thing. You're moving often, and so this is just a great place for them to connect. We do silly things like we have 150 squeaky chickens that we're going to tape to their feet on Sunday. So some people are smiling. If we taped 150 squeaky chickens to your feet in this room, we would probably have some fun. So we just take the opportunity to spend time with these kids, connect with them, and we will be with them and walk through them through the year and help them learn to apply their faith to their everyday life. So that's a little bit about a religious ed program at the chapel. Following down on the left corner of that slide, you will see that there's a QR code that says Chapel Digital Bulletin Board. If you scan that QR code, it will show you every flyer from RSO. It will show you the schedules from RSO. It will give you a place to reserve a spot for Power Wednesday. It's a great resource for you and your unit ministry team, and so I would recommend that you scan that. It's something that can be text or emailed. It doesn't have to be shared on social media. It's something that we developed very frankly because people were experiencing social media fatigue after COVID. Next, I would like to point out to you that during the nighttime hours and early in the morning, there is always a chaplain available to you and your team members in your units. That phone number right there is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week phone number that you can call. If you don't have that phone number for you, I hope that you have that phone number for a friend or a colleague who may need it. So please make sure that you have that phone number accessible to you. I recommend that you take a picture of that today. And lastly, for awareness for all of our leaders in this room, religious observances for the month of September will include the Jewish holidays of Rosh Hashanah on 15 September and 24 September Yom Kippur. And so I would recommend to you, if you have some people in your care who will be celebrating these holidays this year, you need resources from your unit ministry team, that you reach out to them, and or you can always call the Religious Support Office at 531-2669. Pending your questions, that's all that I have for you this morning. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for mentioning that. I just want to clarify, Rosh Hashanah begins on the night of the 15th, and it carries over for 2 days, and Yom Kippur begins the night of the 24th. It actually goes from evening to evening of the 25th, so if your soldiers come to you, I just want to clarify that.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
And good podcast the other day, too. So
Thank you. The PAO team here is great.
Yeah, if you're interested in watching the podcast, please, it's a good one.
Yeah, it was fun. I recommend going to spend time with our PAO team. That was great. I will be followed by BJAC. Oh, thank you, Amanda. She reminded me to move this down.
I'm about the right height. Hey, everybody. I'm Jean Graves. I'm the Public Affairs Officer for Bain Jones Army Community Hospital. Nothing on this slide should really be new to any of you. I want to highlight a few things. If you're having issues with your care or your treatment or whatever, before you even leave the hospital, consider talking to the OIC or the NCOIC of the department. If that fails to work, talk to our patient advocate. I monitor a lot of Facebook pages, and sometimes I feel bad that it has gotten to the point where someone needs to vent on Facebook when maybe we could have solved it for you before you left the hospital. So our patient advocate is there for you. I'm there for you. We actually genuinely care about all of our patients and want to make sure they have the best care while they're there. I'm going to highlight the pharmacy Q Anywhere thing. So the Q Anywhere thing is a QR code thing. Sorry, that's the technical term. It's the QR Anywhere thing. You scan the QR code or you text Get in Line to the phone number. You're at the doctor. They say, hey, I'm prescribing you this new medicine. Before you leave the hospital, Q Anywhere, go to the commissary, go run your errands, and you'll get a text saying your medicine is ready. The other thing, refills, 531 drug. 531 drug. You can do your refills telephonically. You can pick them up at the script center. So you don't even have to come to BJAC when we're busy in the pharmacy. You can pick them up after work at the script center down by entrance A. And if you have a lot of prescriptions, like reoccurring prescriptions every month, consider the Express Script. I've posted it on our Facebook page, and I'll share it again, but it's an opportunity where you can have your medications delivered directly to your home. So those are a few options with the pharmacy, because I know they get beat up sometimes. They have a lot of things to go through before they can actually give you those medications. So these are some options to allow you to do what you need to do instead of waiting in the pharmacy waiting room. Okay, two other things I want to highlight. We've got Breast Cancer Awareness Month coming up next month, October. We are going to have a 5K. We're partnering with 310 on that, and we are doing a survivor luncheon on the 18th. There'll be more to follow on that, but follow our Facebook page. And speaking of the podcast, I'm going to try to get some of our survivors on that podcast to talk to you a little bit about it for October. And then finally, if you look on the right-hand side, I have kind of a list of upcoming events. One of them didn't make the slide because I hadn't made it yet when the slide was due, but it's on your desk. It's posted on our Facebook page. There's extras out there in the hallway, but we are having an open house for behavioral health in honor of Suicide Prevention Month next Wednesday, the 13th, from 08 to 10 o'clock. Our theme is Level Up. So we want you guys to realize there's a lot of different levels, and the first level might be self-care. Then it might be Army Wellness Center. Then it might be our primary care behavioral health. But you might not know these places exist, and we want you to know about them. So we've got resources from all over the post, clinical, non-clinical, staged in the hospital, starting on the first floor all the way up to the 7th floor. And we've got some giveaways and prizes and information. So we encourage you to come out to our Behavioral Health Suicide Prevention Month open house next Wednesday. Connect to protect. Help is in reach. And with that being said, I will be followed by the suicide prevention program.
Good morning, everyone. My name is John Pilgrim. I'm the Army Substance Abuse Program Manager, and suicide prevention is actually one of the programs within my portfolio. Although suicide prevention is a year-round effort, September has been designated as National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. This month, we're putting special emphasis on the mental health and the resiliency of our soldiers and family members in preventing suicide. Our theme this year is You Are the Light in Someone's Life. Throughout the installation, there's going to be various unit-level activities, including the Level Up event at BJAC, unit trainings, community partnerships with local high schools, and radio interviews discussing suicide prevention and available resources. And you can see the different events that we have currently scheduled on the slide. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you. I'll be followed by APHES.
Good morning. My name is Tamar Tracy, the General Manager for APHES Exchange. Due to PCS moves, APHES Exchange has various positions open, so visit applymyexchange.com or contact our recruiter, Julia Nielsen, for more information. Next, due to the popularity of streaming services, Redbox has ended their contract with APHES. So we have two locations with Redbox, the South Main Express and the North Fort Chaffee Express. You will still continue to see these machines until the contractor has coordinated a pickup date. In their place, we'll actually add a second Primo water machine at the South Main Express And then at the Northport Chaffee Express, we will add an additional Coke machine. The main store will be adding another new concept opening fall of this year. It's the mobile center. It will replace the wireless advocate that was in the location that's located directly in front of electronics in the main store. The brands will be AT&T and T-Mobile to start. And this, again, will launch in the fall of this year. Updates down at the very bottom, just a note, the laundromat at 1455, building 1455 is now open as the HVAC system has been repaired. So it's open now for regular business 24/7. And then the Home Depot reset for the demo models in the main store. We're going to implement that a little bit later than anticipated, but online shopping at Home Depot, that commenced on the 21st of August. So if you visit shopmyexchange.com, you'll still be able to access the Home Depot and take a look at their appliances that they have available to purchase. The next slide, the Bayou Theater, building 930 on Mississippi Avenue. We will have an advanced free screening of the movie A Million Miles Away. So this is based on a true story of Jose Hernandez, the first migrant farm worker to travel to space. It's a testimony of perseverance, community, and sacrifice to accomplish an impossible dream. The free screening is this Friday, September the 8th at 1800, and its official release date will be the 15th of September. That's all I have this morning, pending any questions. Okay, I am followed by Corvius.
Good morning. I'm Pam Self, and I am with the Corvius management team here at Fort Johnson. And today we have a couple of updates. One is about our playground. Our Maple Terrace playground is expected to be delivered around the first part of October. It will be assembled, installed, and ready for a first play date by the end of October. After that, we will welcome the Dogwood and Palmetto playgrounds. And then both the Dogwood and Maple Terrace swing sets have been replaced. That's 82% of what we had planned. The remaining 18% is in Palmetto, and those should be done within the next couple of weeks. We'll continue to send our updates by Facebook. We please encourage you to join the Facebook page. It is Residents at Fort Johnson. I know a lot of times the algorithm on Facebook, you don't get all the information, but please check your emails. We do try to send email blasts. And then the pools. We will close the pools. We've actually opened them for an additional 30 days. Our pools will officially close on September the 30th. And then after that, on October the 2nd, last year was our very first pet plunge here at Fort Johnson. And everybody had a blast. They can bring all their dogs and have them jump in the pool and have a good time for a couple of hours. That's actually going to be on October the 2nd from 4 to 6. And then the one thing that didn't make the slide is we're going to honor National Play-Doh Day for the kids. National Play-Doh Day is going to be September the 16th, but we are going to celebrate on September the 15th. And we put together some little activity sets for the children. They can come by and pick them up with different Play-Dohs, a stencil, and the best part about it is actually the Play-Doh brand. And I don't know if you've ever compared Rose Art, all your mothers, to the Play-Doh brand, but Play-Doh smells the best. So we're excited. That's my most favorite time. But little mini assortments, that's going to be Friday on September the 15th. Does anybody have any questions?
Before questions, one thing I'd ask some assistance with. The playgrounds have been, we've been talking about it for a year. It's been, in the top 3 of things we get. So I would just ask us to help folks understand what's going on now. So over 90 swings and have been, almost 100 really, have been replaced. And then you see there, Maple Terrace was the first target for last week of October, and then getting down to Dogwood and Palmetto. So there is movement on that. There already has been movement. A lot of things have been replaced. So I would just ask us to help people understand that there's some movement in what's coming, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
When someone reserves a community center for an event on the weekend, I've unfortunately walked in and the AC has not been on in the building and it's miserable. Who do we speak to maybe the Friday before? How do we go about making sure I have that room for this event on Sunday and we want it to be cool when we walk in.
You could, on a Friday, if you choose to, before we close on Friday, you can contact your community center or either the community center that you've actually reserved the center for that specific day. Any resident that lives at Fort Johnson and in one of our homes can reserve any of the centers. It doesn't have to be that specific center, so just make sure you reach out to that center. If you do go into a center and there is an issue, if you call the 1-800, the maintenance line, then someone will come out. That would be an emergency. They would come out and fix our AC.
Okay, so just so I understand, so the community center ACs are never shut off?
Correct.
Okay, so if we walk in and it's hot, then something broke down?
There's an issue, yes, ma'am,
Okay,
there's an
thank you
issue.
for
And what we do have is because of a natural safety issue, we have our large community centers. If anyone's ever been in our community centers, we have a gym area in the very back. Well, when people are in there working out all through the weekend and we're not there to monitor, but for some reason if they want fresh air, they raise every window in the gym. And that's probably about 10 to 12 windows that they raise. So that makes the AC work additional overtime, and sometimes they just can't keep up. So when you walk into that end of the building with your key fob, it will be hot. Sometimes we just have to go through on a Monday morning and we have to close all those windows.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes, ma'am.
Good to know.
Any other questions?
Next slide, please. So as always, this is the companies that have qualified for the CG's Good Conduct Incentive Program. Sir, do you have any comments on this slide?
Good job.
Great. Next slide, please. We'll jump into our alibis ops group. Uh, 353rd. 310.
The only question I had from the spouse that wasn't able to be here is she noticed that the last month's release is not on the Facebook page, so are we maybe doing those? Is that like a give and take, or is it just depending on staffing?
It should be standard that it gets posted on the Facebook page as well as the website immediately following.
Because of the lack of hourly care, a lot of my spouses can't make it, so they're relying on this ability to watch it at a later time to get their information to families.
Okay. 32nd. 15. 46th. 519th. Dentac. And then 18th weather. Nobody. Next slide, please.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, or we're still morning? We're still morning. So the big things we wanted to highlight, Jean went over a lot of them. It is Suicide Awareness Month, and we are doing some really fun things, both on post and at the hospital. Do come out next Wednesday for our resiliency resources. I'm learning things about what my hospital has to offer for this particular problem. It's something we tackle. It is something that while we focus on it in September, is going to be at the forefront all the way through the holidays and into January and February when the post-holidays blues really hit. So by all means, come find out what we have to offer for you and your soldiers, your family members. There's some really great just tools that we can use short of actually getting in seeing behavioral health. Jean highlighted our QR codes for pharmacy. There's also the QR code for TDY travel. We've been having so much success with this that we have added another one. It's pinned at the top of our webpage. If you need a hearing booth appointment, you can go, there's a QR code, snap a picture of that, and you can make your appointment to get your hearing done. So if you don't do that at your SRP, and you want to just knock that out, go ahead and make that appointment. The QR codes are also posted around the hospital, trying to meet our soldiers where they live on their phones. So, pending any questions, I'll hand it over to our Command Sergeant Major.
All right, good morning, everyone. Just, one thing that I wanted to just mention and put a plug in about our Q Anywhere. I know you're hearing about that a lot, because we know that is one of the top concerns within our community and our soldiers with the pharmacy wait. It works, okay? We use it, a lot of personnel in this room use it. I actually had a patient who ran into me in the hallway, did not know how to use his cell phone. I took the time, walked him through exactly how to put the code in, how to get a text message. He was trying to text himself, so I had to walk through a couple challenges with that, but it was okay. He knew that I was engaged, I understood his frustrations, and I was willing to help him get through it. So now, we at least have one customer who now knows, he can show up at the pharmacy, whenever he gets a text message back and pick up his meds and be able to take care of some of the personal things that he would like to do on Fort Johnson. So we love visitors at BJAC, so if you're not getting the assistance that you need from our patient advocate or from department level leadership, please come by the command suite. We're more than welcome to take the time to address any of your concerns. Have a great day.
I was also gonna chime back in, short alibi, on the pharmacy. If you're calling in, use the script center. It's right inside entrance A, and it's open 24/7. You need to pick your meds up at 2 in the morning on a holiday weekend. If you call it in and have them put it in the script center, you can pick it up whenever it's convenient for you. Just go, directions are on the screen. We finally got it up and working after it being down for a few months. It's a great addition. Lets you do it at your own convenience. So utilize that as well. Thank you.
For a correction on this slide with the burn ban, it says on there on one of the bullets on the left-hand side of it where you can't use any type of grilling material to cook out. And then over in the red box, it does say on there that you can use propane. So to clarify that, right now, no grilling, even that includes propane or anything that takes a flame.
Any open flame.
The other one I have for you, this is going to go into effect here. I'm just going to share it at the I'm going to have it posted up in the eGuardian. And it's on your table. It's a flyer for the dress code policy for AAFES and DECA. So to get after what some folks are wearing is they think it's acceptable behavior, and then we're fielding ICE comments on in terms of inappropriate attire. This will line it out just like the soldier referral program. There'll be a little board that'll be in front of both the commissary and in a few spots, all the entrances in AAFES. Please share this with your soldiers. Get this out to their spouses because it's also applicable to them. In other words, soldiers, very easy. You just go up to the soldier and make on-spot correction. To a spouse or a retiree or anyone else, that's a little bit more of a challenge, right? But it's done through just candor and very tactful delivery. It doesn't require anybody to be screamed or hollered at. Just, excuse me, sir or ma'am, what you're having is in violation of the CG's dress code policy. I need you to either fix yourself or please leave the facility. If they want to get loud or rambunctious with you, you can contact the MPs, at which point they can be issued a CVN for disturbing the peace or disorderly conduct, if you will. And so please get that out to your families. I know it won't be a popular one, but neither is getting ICE comments because someone's wearing something that they should not be wearing in a family facility. And that is all I have, sir.
Two quick public service announcements. The first one regarding Highway 171 just east of Lowe's. So in about 2 days, Leesville is going to increase its capacity to north-south traffic by putting in a roundabout that's going to impact north-southbound traffic, likely impacting our ACPs, our MPs, and DES. We're going to take a hard look at the numbers and a study, but it probably will affect opening hours, meaning longer in the future during this 180-day construction period for Leesville. So just keep in the back of your mind, if you're trying to go north on 171 out ACP 1, it's going to get a little bit longer for you in terms of timing because of the construction there. And then the second one pertains to the AIE system, which is the electronic access system that controls individuals coming onto the installation. Currently, if you have a new driver's license from another state, the barcode does not translate well into the system, causing a person to be improperly vetted onto the installation. When that does occur, the guards will tell the driver to either go to the visitor control center, where it can be rectified, the system can be rectified, or to call a number that we're going to be publicizing here in a couple of days on eGuardian, which is ACP 7. And we're also going to publicize that in an all distro email. Are there any questions about the AIE concerns or 171? Ball's in your hands, DES. Sure.
Okay. Hey, before I recognize a few folks, again, appreciate everybody being here. Hopefully you had a great Labor Day. I was remiss with all the folks that do great stuff around here, and I have to thank, for the wildfires, I thanked our DES and all the people digging on the ground, but I forgot to thank 1-5, who, without their efforts, so little quick story. If you haven't seen them flying around, one, they've been going around spotting fires to help our local partners see what's going on from the air, because they have capability and skills that aren't necessarily out there, and as well as the capacity. But the other thing is a bunch of their aviators went out and got certified on what I've now learned are called Bambi buckets, which are almost 500 gallons of water that suspends under the helicopter, and they're able to dump that on wildfires. So, as an example, the one we did have on installation behind Dogwood, that was not only DES and the fire trucks with an awesome cannon, but it was also 1-5 Aviation flying overhead with the Bambi bucket. So a great job by 1-5 Aviation. Appreciate that, as well as everything they do all the time to support the installation. So the first person we'll recognize here is our Civilian of the Month, Darren Sanders. If you'd come on up. So Mr. Sanders been here about 11 years, works in DPW, business operations, and he has helped us spend all the money that we need to spend. So well done, and we appreciate it, especially as we get close to the fiscal year closeout. All right, thank you for your effort. And then Command Sergeant Major Hanson is on his way, or he's actually there already. He's up at Fort Liberty at U.S. Forces Command. So I'm going to take over for him. I'm going to recognize our Soldier of the Month here, who is Sergeant Florence, if you'd come on up. So raise your hand if you know what Sergeant Florence does. Okay, a few of the folks in the garrison. So I want to share a little bit, so please relax. When we, so we have the Warrior Operations Center, which does all of our tracking serious incidents. They keep track of anything that's happened on or off the installation. And during the wildfire, Sergeant Florence is the one, if you've been getting the messages that have very concisely put together everything that's going on around us and all the families that have been impacted, that's Sergeant Florence. So he and I became personal pen pals for a little bit. He would send me the note, I'd send it back, I'd say, add this. He'd send it back and say, hey, that's great, thanks. Add this too. And then he'd send it back and say, great, can you get me an email that's less than 35 megabytes? So he was dealing with that the whole time. But in a personal way, if you wonder how we were able to very rapidly get information from family members to the soldier while in rotation, again, that's Sergeant Florence in the Warrior Operations Center, making sure that he was tied very closely to operations group to get those messages out. So just a fantastic job here during the wildfires. But they're not over yet. All right, and next week is going to be 4 October?
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
That's correct.
All right, so hey, again, I thank everybody for coming. I'll turn it back over to you to close us out.
That is everything. Again, 4 October for the next week. I look forward to seeing you all next month. Thanks.